life just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah.
One of my great gifts is that I dream big. Big projects, big possibilities, lots of them. And my greatest fear is unfulfilled potential.
Well, you just said what we just said.
Yeah.
That's it, isn't it? Dreaming big requires believing big. And fear of unfulfilled potential means you're not doing that. Some people, after they have dreamed big for a while, but haven't believed and so haven't allowed it to be fulfilled, then they think that they're going to stop dreaming, but they can't. You can't take that desire back. You got to get up to speed with it. Yeah.
And so, yeah, I have lots of progression along the way and feel like I'm making progress. And then I have an even bigger dream and, feel like I'm going even the wrong direction instead of going in the right direction.
Well, let us give you something that will help you easily and right away. This is so much easier than you have been letting it be. So just relax and take this in, because it's so much simpler than anyone has realized. Dreaming big is so good. That means that life is producing for you plenty of momentum. And you're catching plenty of glimpses of what your inner being knows also. Because a lot of those dreams, this is important for you to understand, a lot of those dreams, as they get big and they feel so intoxicating to you, you're dreaming them because you're in the receiving mode. You're receiving plenty of those dreams. You're not just conjuring them up in the moment. There's momentum. Your inner being's got hold of them. Your inner being is feeding to you the next logical and the next logical. And you must be somewhere in the vibrational vicinity of the receiving mode for those dreams to feel so big and to feel so intoxicating to you. So that's a really good thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. The subject of creation is really about the subject of the law of attraction. And the subject of the law of attraction is really the subject of momentum. So here's how momentum works. You catch hold of a little dream, maybe not something that takes your breath away, but it felt good while you thought it. And then, if you are like so many objective humans, you counter it with logic. So the momentum is not allowed by you to pick up any more momentum. That dream doesn't get going. And if you're a really objective human, you dream, you kill it, you dream, you kill it, you dream, you kill it, you dream, you kill it. But if you begin enjoying the feeling of the dream, instead of needing the thoughts to turn all the way to the manifested things, if you're happy in the thought, if the thought in and of itself, and here's the key word, if the thought in and of itself is satisfying to you, then the satisfying thought will carry you to more and more and more. So the key is to catch it in the early subtle stages, because in the beginning, I want this, but, in other words, since there's not much momentum, the countering thought could be easily achieved. In fact, the countering thought could be more easily achieved if you have had a lot of naysayers around you, and if you're human, you have. This is what's happening to you. We've not said this before, so hear it. You were inspired to clarity about the dream. Inner being's in on this. And then your humanness took over and killed it. Because there's plenty of negative momentum going on. How are you going to do that? When you think about what you want and why you want it, you usually get more momentum. When you think about where it's going to come from, when it's going to come, who's going to be there, how you're going to go about it, when you try to answer those questions that you haven't yet achieved enough momentum to answer, then that's when you contradict it and slow it way down. So we know you're getting the idea. You want to allow your dream to gestate in this vortex, but it already is. What we're getting at is you want to practice yourself the thoughts that allow you to be a vibrational equivalency to that vibration, so that in the same place that the idea of the dream came from, more ideas about how to proceed come too. Does that make sense to you? But this is a key factor. We didn't quite get to it in the fullest way that we want to. The simple process for you is to just ask yourself, Esther's asking herself this question 100 or 200 or 300 times every day as a thought comes from somewhere. Is this a satisfying thought? Is this thought satisfying? Not, is this the best thought I ever had? Not, is this thought taking my breath away? She's not asking for big time momentum, because when there's big time momentum, she doesn't have to ask that question. But when it's just a thought about something, like a driver who cuts her off in traffic, and she thinks, that was unkind and unnecessary. And then she asks herself, was that a satisfying thought? No. Then leave it right there. Or someone yields for her and makes room for her to enter, and she thinks, that was awfully nice of you. Was that a satisfying thought? Yes, indeed it was. Then keep thinking that thought. Ooh, lots of people let me in like that. She waves this way. She makes sure they can see her from the back. She waves this way. She waves in her mirror. She blows kisses. She wants them to know. She wants to carry that feeling as far as that feeling can. And the more satisfied she is about that, the more things like that become her experience. So, is that satisfying? Is that a satisfying thought? It's a matter of letting, and these are the key words we want you to hear. Don't try to make it happen. Let it be as big as it is. It's big. But let your relationship with it be as big as it is, because it's big enough. Did you hear that? Don't try to fake it till you make it. Don't try to goose it up. Don't try to push the noodle. Don't try to pretend it, because you can't fake it. You can't fake with the universe. How you feel is how you feel. But you can, if you discover a feeling that isn't satisfying, you can refocus if you do it early enough, before momentum gets hold of it. Because if momentum gets hold of it, then you're just going to have to sort of go with it until another opportunity to choose shows itself to you. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So let's talk about some details if you want to.
I have an analogy, and maybe this will go with it, that when I have a dream in a vision or whatever, and I leave it up in the cloud, basically, I can move it around, I can play with it, I can flip it around, and it's effortless and
because
easy.
There's no reality that's contradicting it.
Yeah. And
there's
as soon as you try to bring it down,
don't say that, because it's not true.
Well, into existence.
That's because you're trying to fake it till you make it. That's because you're trying to make it happen rather than allow it to be. Your work isn't to produce it, to create it, to manhandle it into place. Your work is to dream it into place and let the momentum of it inspire you to the action.
But then little old me has to write the email and create the relationships. And
but don't do it unless
things.
you're satisfied. That's the point. If you get an impulse to write an email and you say, is this a satisfying thought? Write it. Here's what we're leading up to. You are always in the receptive mode of something. If you're sleeping, it's a different thing. But if you are awake, you are offering a vibration and you're in the receiving mode of something. The question is, what? What are you in the receiving mode? Are you in the receiving mode of your inner being and the fulfilling of your dream? Or are you in the receiving mode of fearful thoughts that you picked up from your mother or somebody? What receiving mode are you in? Because you're always in the receiving mode. And asking yourself the satisfaction question will tell you what receiving mode you're in, what influence you are under. Esther just sent the proof to the printer yesterday for a dash card that lays on your dash. She thought about a bumper sticker, but she didn't think it was good for you to run around with this bumper sticker. It says, under the influence. So it'll be on your dash if you want, and when you look at it, you can't read it, so no one walking by has any idea what you're trying to say. They think you're crazy. But when you're in the car and looking forward, it reflects upon the lower part of your windshield, and it says under the influence. And it could cause you to ask the question, what influence am I under? Am I under the influence of my vortex, my inner being, or am I under the influence of my doubts and fears? Because as you just explained to us, it could go either way. When you're dreaming, it's easy to dream. In fact, we've been saying for a long time that 99.99.99999, almost all of your creation is complete before you, let's say you have a business idea, more than 99% of it is all done before you put the first board up for the first building or hire the first person or make your first dollar. Because it's done vibrationally and then it starts manifesting. But most people don't really get that going because they get it and get it and stop it and get it and stop it and get it and stop it. And then they say, oh, I better just manhandle this into beingness. And then they're not empowered. They're not enlivened. The leverage of alignment is so huge. And the paltry puniness of action is so misunderstood by humans. So when you allow yourself to dream the dream until the dream inspires you to the action, then all of the action is blissful. And any action that isn't blissful, we wouldn't offer. We would either find a way to not act or we would find a way to act in bliss. And it takes a little bit of doing because you sort of have to rework it a little bit. You have to remind yourself. But it doesn't take very long before you're satisfied. You want to talk more about it? Because we've been talking conceptually, but we can help you if you want to chew through it a little bit. Because wouldn't it be nice if you all were just starting right now, and so you didn't have any beliefs that were in the way? Well, that's not the case. You got beliefs that are in the way. So just going to have to figure out how to navigate with those beliefs. Your inner being knows what your beliefs are that are in your way, and your inner being will help you navigate around them. Your inner being will lead you. When we talk about the path of least resistance, you know what we're really talking about? Hear this. Drum roll, please. This is so good. What that path of least resistance is the path in your mind that has the least resistance. That's what the path of least resistance is. How can you most believe in this path? And so sometimes your inner being will lead you to something that you believe and something you believe and something you believe. And it's not long before you believe so much in source energy. You believe so much in your vortex. You believe so much in the laws of the universe. You believe so much in the law of attraction. You believe so much, and here's the key piece. You believe so much in your ability to discern satisfaction from dissatisfaction that you just start catching it earlier and earlier and earlier, and you just feeling gooder and gooder and better and better, more and more and more and more and more, until you're having so much fun on your way to the fulfillment of these dreams. It's the journey of these dreams that's the reason that you're dreaming them, not the full manifestation of them. You know how we know? Because each one that manifests produces another one that is yet to be manifested. You never get to the end of it.
And is it okay to keep dreaming, knowing that we're not going to be able to get to everything in this lifetime? Do they carry over into the next one? Or, I mean, that would be great. I mean, there's got to be a great legacy here that goes on forever, right?
We're going to reword your question. Is it okay to fulfill my reason for being? Yes. Is it okay to do what inevitably I have no other choice other than to do? Is it okay? Is it okay? Is it okay? It's not only okay, nothing else is even possible. You cannot stop being the consciousness that is here. And you cannot stop perceiving your environment. And therefore, you cannot stop having your personal awareness of improvement. And you cannot prevent your inner being from being right there with you and finding your personal improvement and holding steady to it. And you cannot stop law of attraction from gathering the cooperative components. Now, you could refuse to be one of those cooperative components. But once you've launched a dream and your inner being has hold of it, your only choice, if you are to feel satisfied or happy, is to go in the direction of your dream. So here's the question. Is it all right for me to not go in the direction of my dream? Abraham, is it all right for me to let my inner being take my dream and hold it in this vibrational escrow? And is it all right for me to squander it and never focus in the direction of it and instead hold myself in misery as I focus in opposition? Yeah, that's okay. Nobody's going to stop you from doing it. But is it smart? No. Is it what you said you would do? No. Is it what we teach? No.
But my laundry list is, 100 deep of all the things that I've dreamed and
Oh,
want
you're
to create.
such a baby.